This is Caesar's Gallic Wars, Book 1, in the first section. Gaul is divided. Now, sometimes this would be put here, divisa est. Gaul has been divided, but Caesar's deliberately putting that up front there to give it a present sense. And then omnis, Gaul as a whole. Omnis literally means all, but we're going to translate it as a whole here. In partes tres, into three parts. Now this is accusative, and as you know, in plus the accusative is into, not in, because it expresses motion. That's our first bit there. Very famous opening, beautifully elegant and simple. Of which, now this is pointing back to the three parts. These three parts, of these three parts, one the Belgae inhabit. So this quorum, it's looking back to the tres partes, so it's feminine, feminine, plural, plural, but it's genitive because it is possessing unam, one. And we're going to be talking about ellipsis here, ellipsis. Ellipsis is when you leave out a word. So if you look at unam, it's feminine, it's singular. What's been left out is pretty clearly partem. One part. So, ellipsis. Partem's left out there. One part the Belgians inhabit. Another, and here, partem is left out. So another ellipsis, and here the verb is left out. We have to understand that in colont is sort of carried over from over here. So this is a really wonderful understated sentence here. And the third part, another ellipsis, because partem again has been left out. Those who, in the language of themselves, are called Celts, but in our language are called Gauls. So again, nostra lingua ellipsis. In our language, oh my gosh, they are called Gauls, and then here, oops, it's appellantur. They are called Celts. So another ellipsis here. So to the Roman reader, this is all pretty apparent. And to us, we really have to kind of piece it together and see which parts are missing in which places. And the other thing I want you to think about as we read this first opening line, look at how Caesar approaches this new land he's entering. He's dividing it into three parts. Now, is that a natural division or is that a Roman division? And he's naming the tribes that live in the three parts. And he does make this little interesting note that in their language they call themselves the Celts, and in our language they are called the Gauls. So a little bit of a multicultural perspective here. He's at least acknowledging that they have their own way of identifying themselves.